This is the main part of the outreach as far as the ministry is concerned. Today we've got pretty much the entire prison. So you're going to see us in the German Journey usual demonstration and testimony, and see if we can raise their faith and get through to them a little bit about the gospel.
We're in Itchen Prison, Glenorchy, which is about 5 miles from Stirling. Well, as a governor over many years, I've always been very keen to encourage outside groups to come in. It's very important that we reflect the world outside inside as far as we can. There's always a real buzz in the prison when a group like Tough Talk come in and give their message. It's encouraging prisoners to believe that there's hope, that change is possible. Because I think that's above all our abiding message to prisoners. They don't have to be prisoners, they don't have to commit crime, they have choices. A lot of them don't believe they have choices.
Yeah, this DVD is not your road to stardom, fellas, all right?
I sat in on the last time you were here, and I think it made a really powerful impact on the prisoners. I think it was a different message, something that they hadn't heard before, and it definitely resonated with them. There was no preaching, it was just, here's our life stories, and we want to put something back into prisons and prisoners, and I think prisoners appreciate that.
Many years ago I was handed a DVD. Once we had used it, we noticed the effect in the in-prison groups, and many questions were asked of the history of the men that were in the video at the time. And we made contact, met Arthur, and the invitation was put out. And since then, it's more or less been 8 times a year we have worked with both Ian and Arthur.
We were looking at, Simon came across in March with Holy Trinity Brompton, met Simon and just thought it would be great to get Tough Talk across here. Heard a lot about Tough Talk. We had the DVD in the prison, and we thought it would be a great opportunity if it was possible to get them over to share their testimonies, share their stories.
A lot of the guys are crying out for change. I mean, that's what I hear more often than not. You know, just I want to change. I want to be free from this, and they feel trapped and sometimes in a cycle of behaviour that they themselves feel a victim of, and they wish they could step out of it and step back from it. But desperate to change, desperate to be better people, basically, most of them. Imagine it in jail, it's all about face, it's all about front, it's all about reputation. So sometimes going to church things is soft, but going to the gym is seen as quite hard. So guys will come down and they'll engage with this. And for a lot of them as well, they have a perception of Christianity and a perception of the church, which basically guys from Tough Talk almost blow away just by their physical presence and talking about, you know, weightlifting and gym stuff, in the same conversations they're talking about God. And I think for a lot of them that's quite a new experience, to say the least, and one that sort of blows them away.
This was my God. This is what I worshipped from being a young man. Everything and everyone took second place to it. I come out the East End of London, you can tell from my delicate tones I wasn't educated at Cambridge. And I built a very, very successful business. So I had, materialistically speaking, everything that you would want in life. I had a happy marriage, I had a successful sporting career, and a successful business. So life was going good for me. But when I thought I was about to enjoy all that, my life went drastically wrong.
Tough Talk, because it's based on individuals, it's of interest to prisoners. They can relate to the problems that the individual guys had. They can understand the problems, and it's ultimately a very uplifting, positive message. And that's what we want to convey to prisoners.
I lost my business, as I say. Everything that meant anything to me, in 4 years of madness, I lost. I thought I was in control, it was controlling me. There was a group of guys in this gym though that I was training at that always seemed to be there when I was there. When I turned up the gym, they was always there. And I just got chatting to these guys and I found out that they were actually taking anabolic steroids.
There's a massive drug issue in the prisons throughout the country, and this prison behind me is no exception. To be able to, through Tough Talk, the men to speak about steroids, which are probably the more popular drug in the prison at this time. They give good advice on the outcome, the effects of the drugs that they themselves have used, and they're advising the men not to use.
I'm working hard, training hard, I'm fueling my body now. I was getting in the gym day after day. I started taking a little bit of speed, a little bit of ephedrine. That led me into sulf, that led me into cocaine. I had a 10-year cocaine and steroid addiction that nearly ended my life.
Steroids are a synthetic hormone your body will produce naturally about 20 milligrams a day of a male testosterone. Naturally, between the ages of about 18 to 35, you're going to produce that naturally. I was injecting around 400 to 500 milligrams a day on myself during a 12-year steroid cycle in my life. I was competing, taking the gear, and for about 6 years I never came off the steroids. I paid the price for that. There's consequences for our actions. There's side effects to this sort of stuff. And if you abuse anything in life, no matter what it is, you're going to pay the price for that.
The first time that they came in, there was a lot of trepidation because we didn't know exactly how the spiritual thing, the Christian thing and the PE thing would tie in. However, after the first one, they've been coming back every 6 months or so since then, and it's been very well received both by the staff and the prisoners. I noticed certainly for the few days to the couple of weeks after the presentation, you do notice that there's a few guys who are definitely thinking about things a wee bit more afterwards. So we do get positive feedback.
And I remember standing, I wasn't a kid, I was 42 years of age. And I'm thinking, I'm nothing but a mug. I chose that morning to ask God to come into my life. There wasn't an opening of the heavens, no booming voice, no choir of angels didn't come fluttering down to me. But something did happen.
Usually they go away and think about it, and very often they'll come and engage chaplains and have conversations, and it brings out spiritual conversations. So very often right after a Tough Talk presentation, guys will start talking, and so I think it does challenge them, it does trigger them, and then usually very often they go away with the book as well, and they can read the stories and read a wee bit more. And sometimes you never know what's really going on and what's sort of percolated within them, but you know that something's been triggered and that's given them food for thought.
I think every prison should open its doors and encourage Tough Talk to come in. There's nothing to lose, everything to gain.
We're also going to have a little bench press competition for you guys.
They're not being lectured at, they're not being preached at. This is life stories in raw from people who have gone through very real difficulties and have come through positively at the end.
It's real faces, real men, real challenges, real answers.
I think for older guys that can relate to these guys, they've led a similar life and you can take away some positives for this,
I could see where he's coming from because I've kind of been there, not with taking steroids, but I'm getting along them lines of thinking about taking it and that, so it's kind of swayed me.
Thought it was good to hear the guy's stories. It's inspirational. It shows us light at the end of the tunnel for everybody.
I recommend Tough Talk to any jail. I mean, they come in, they work with the PT staff, and they get guys along, as I say, who would never normally come along. They come in and they just tell it in a basic way as it is, and certainly, all chaplains' teams should certainly, seriously consider getting them in, because you'll get guys that normally would never talk to you otherwise.
The best thing that we get is men talking the Christian message from the stories they've heard and starting to apply it to their own history. And then they will advertise it to the other prisoners, which means the next time round, when Tough Talk comes in, the attention for it is even greater than the time before. So gossiping the gospel, I think that's how we would put it.
Change is possible. Believe in change. It can happen and will happen in their case if they give it a go.
God bless you all. Take care.